and welcome into Recliner Media here on this Sunday evening as we have a double feature for you on this Sunday evening. We'll be recapping Season 5, Volume 1 of Stranger Things, and it was a doozy, and F all you haters. That's all I got to say about that. And then in a short while, we will dive back into On the Mark when on the mic, talk about NFL Week 13, Mark. It's already week 13. We got only a few more weeks to go, and we'll dive into what are you watching, and then later we will spin once again the wheel review. Or will we? I don't know what we'll do because we still have to recap a little bit of what we watched, I guess maybe last week. Maybe we'll put that on the back burner for this week. We don't know. But we will start things off with Talking Strange here on the Recliner Media Network. Make sure you dive into all of our socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Everything is everywhere, so make sure you dive into those things. Mark, how the heck are you?
Doing good. How was your Thanksgiving?
Holiday's always short, as always, and yeah, I guess we got to look forward to the next holiday.
Yeah, I feel that. I was lucky. I had the week off, so I was able to fully enjoy.
That's always nice. Yep. That is always nice. Well, yeah, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Still some stressful holidays on the horizon as well. So get yourself ready for that, as well as the day before Thanksgiving, as you all well know. Netflix did crash, so I don't know if you experienced it. I did not. So on my end was fine. Did you experience? You shook your head, so I'm assuming yours was fine.
Yeah, I didn't have one issue. There was I take that back. There was one, I think on episode 3, there was one where it skipped like 30 seconds, but I just rewound it, caught everything back up, and not one issue after that. So
yeah, I didn't have any issues whatsoever, and I started a little bit late because I wanted to finish the last episode of season 4. But diving right into it, obviously season 5, volume 1, first 4 episodes released on the day before Thanksgiving. What was your overall opinion? And then we'll dive into some of the specifics.
man, I loved it. I thought there was a couple things that I predicted right, so that was fun. And then there was like way more left turns. Like as we discussed on Wednesday before it came out. So I was happy with it. I don't quite understand the hate that some of the people are coming out and saying. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait for December.
Yeah, on Christmas. So it might crash again because literally everyone should be home on Christmas. So you don't know what's going to happen on that day. 3 episodes coming out on Christmas once again. But again, there was so much to unpack, so much to dive into. Yeah, I think at least one of my predictions was maybe wrong, and that was maybe Will dying after we found out what happened with him. So much to unpack with Henry / Vecna / one now / Mr. What's-It. He's got 4 different names now. So that was let's dive into that storyline first, because that was a little bit difficult to follow if you weren't really paying attention to how this all has been going. I mean, it feels like the movie Inception, because you're in so many memories, you're in so many of this, you're in a memory here. Like, what's present day, what's not? Like, is he... And then, so yeah, we find out that he's already recreated the world, and his first, I guess, victim or first priority was, I guess you can include Will was his first kind of victim, if you will, way back in season 1, and you kind of saw the flashback. The first 5 minutes of this season was Will in the Upside Down. Again, sucker for flashbacks, always love that. But Holly, I mean, there was a lot of speculations that she was going to get a lot of runtime, and she's almost featured in the first 4 episodes already. You see Henry bring her to his house. If you notice, it's a lot nicer. The outside's nice. You see the park where they were, where Erica was stationed at one point in season 4, and yeah, what was your thoughts on this new created world? And Holly was absolutely fantastic in all of these episodes.
So my first like knee jerk reaction was like, okay, he already got way more powerful if he's able to recreate this, and make everything beautiful once again, if you will. So my first reaction was like, okay, how the hell did he get that strong that fast? What are we missing? How does he keep powering up? Um, because I mean, it's 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 kind of it was. I mean, show wise, not timeline wise, but show wise, it was kind of a quick turnaround for him to just power up after all the crawls that they were doing. So that's kind of what I picked up on, and then it made it, like you said, it did make it a little, little messy with all the different memories, and I guess it's the same world but different memories within one world, or two worlds, if you will. So I'm waiting for that to come full circle to see how they can make everything connect or make everything make sense. Because that one spot that Max comes out in, right? He's afraid to go in there. We don't know why. So I'm waiting for everything to make sense. Is what
Yeah,
I'm kind of waiting for.
yeah, and Max's reveal was, her back. You're like, wait a minute, she was in a coma, and then you almost forget that it's a side world, I guess. So how is she in the newly created world or this is just a memory? Like that's so like you said, hopefully they connect the dots and connect everything. I'm sure they will. We still got 4 more episodes to wait for, and so hopefully this connect. Yeah, why is Henry so scared and frightened to go in the caves? There's a lot of theories out there online. Not going to get into those right now. Obviously, it's probably a bad memory that he had, and so yeah, he was afraid to go in there, which is why Max lives in those caves now. And kind of the cool now relationship between Holly and Max. Another we talked about duos before the season drop, Mark, and it was another cool duo that obviously we've never seen before, and that's Max and Holly.
Right. And the way they get to connect it, I thought it was kind of funny where Holly kind of gave her the third degree at first, didn't quite believe that she was really Max. That was kind of funny, but it was kind of cool to see them connect. And like you said earlier, I too am a sucker for flashbacks, so we got to see the whole flashback of Max and how she got there, and just how they were able to connect everything together and then form the plan. So that in its own kind of little side quest was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the stories kind of all around social media, everything, and that's the actress who plays Holly, Nell Fisher. They saw she was in the latest Evil Dead Rise movie, and all the Duffer Brothers saw was a preview of it. Her in the preview, as she was one of the daughters of the mom who got possessed. Spoiler alert! And all they saw was the preview, and they said that's Holly, and she came in, I guess, and was cast obviously. So and she's been terrific so far. I love.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love that they're. I guess the rumors were true that they were really going to feature Holly, and then we never really got into it in our pre-show before the season dropped, and that was, remember, way back in season 1, Holly started to see the Demogorgon come through the wall, and then obviously Joyce and Karen, her mom, came into the room and like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in here? Blah blah blah. Took her away, and so. Who knows what would have been? Was she the original first target? Was she the original?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you got to think. And then she also saw some lights flickering in one of the other seasons as well. So, and then
maybe some crazy foreshadowing.
Yeah. So maybe they'll tie that in together. We don't know yet. But and again, going back to when Holly was taken to the Upside Down by the Demogorgon, and again, all 4 of my articles are posted on our website, reclinermedia.com. I even asked the question, like, how is this, or how are these I don't know, we don't know if it's the same Demogorgon or different ones. Like, I'm assuming Vecna gave them powers now. They're just creating doors and gates to the Upside Down at will. I mean, they're just literally opening a wall and going right through. When before, it was a little bit of a struggle, but now they're just coming in and out like it's nothing. And Karen went full mom mode. By the way, I love the performance by her, and I mean, she stabbing that thing. I really hope Karen makes it. I mean, the dad finally turned into somebody with a spine or a backbone, and tried to fight him off. So I hope Karen makes it. Obviously the foregone MILF of the show, but I mean that was cool to finally see her. I mean, to see a Demogorgon for the first time in 5 seasons, Mark, and going full mom mode, not knowing how to defeat this thing, what to do, and just goes at it.
Yeah, no, definitely showing some gonads there, just breaking the wine bottle. Just I'm gonna take this thing on with half a piece of glass. So definitely a ballsy move. I thought that was pretty badass. And I agree. She came out phenomenally. Once again, the performance was fantastic. And the cool thing was like a part of that performance. I think some people didn't take into account where there was no time to freak out. There was no time to try and process what she saw. It was time to fight, and she dropped everything, was ready to rock and roll. So I thought, I thought that in its own was pretty cool to watch her be able to, like I said, just jump right into action, not even process what she's seeing, and try and protect, her daughter.
Yeah, so that was crazy, and then eventually they catch wind. 11 and Nancy catch wind of all this going down. They're driving up to the house, and they see the lights flickering. Obviously, I almost forgot that the military is still after 11. After everything that everyone has seen, they are still. Do they really think that 11 is the cause of all these kidnappings and murders? Somehow, some way, that one lieutenant dude is still a dick, and he's still trying to find her. Kind of the lost duo in the shuffle of all these seasons was Hopper and 11 tag teaming it back up. Spent 95% of these first 4 episodes in the Upside Down. Was awesome to see, I guess, father daughter back at it. Now you see why she was training so much at the beginning of this new season, jumping over walls and stuff like that. Now we know why. I know Linda Hamilton's character is probably a villain, but I loved her performance as well. Like what she's a doctor, she's a lieutenant sergeant. Everyone reports to her, so I'm interested to see how they progress her story as well. Because she's stabbing, looks like Demogorgon flesh in some kind of lab. What did you make of Hopper and Eleven's journey so far in the Upside Down?
I loved it. Like you said, it brought back the old duo, one of the favorite duos, and on top of it, it was cool to see them both kind of hone in her skills, knowing what they have ahead of them. Kind of, I also love the preparation side of everything that they've been doing. On top of them, working out every day and like I said, trying to hone in their skills. They got Rockin' Robin, and at the radio, having their own codes, having their own schemes and plans. Murray being able to make the drops. So the whole preparation and the whole planning side, I think, kind of like helps build that up. So when they are in the Upside Down, it they're very much prepared. They don't know what they're gonna get into, but they're very much prepared to get into everything. So and then obviously Hopper with the fail safe, with the bomb strapped across his chest. I honestly, I didn't know what he was gonna find when he went into through that door. I know we'll get into that later, but in that original, when I was originally sitting there watching that, I'm like, it can't be that easy, right? Vecna can't be just chilling. It cannot be that easy, especially with going back to Dr. K, where what is she doing with whatever the hell that is that was strangling Hopper, and she kind of was able to not train it, but she's kept it under control under her thumb. So it's like, what is she doing? I like that's another piece that I hope and I'm sure they will. I hope they connect the dots on that, because what motivates them to think Eleven's this bad person, especially when, if we remember, I forget his real name, but the original military doctor was knew that Papa was the bad guy and kind of creating all these different issues. So they should already know that it wasn't 11.
Yeah, that's yeah. Like I said, they're still after her for some. And then, I mean, the Upside Down has turned into almost a home base now for the military. I mean, they're going in and out. And obviously our group knows, when and where. So Hopper's able to dive into a back of a truck, and that whole base that Dr. K is working at is in the Upside Down, which is just
Right.
crazy. And then they run to, I compared it to Game of Thrones. They run into this giant wall that nobody, I mean, it's obviously made of some kind of flesh, and nobody knows what it is, where it came from. I mean, Dustin kind of figured out that it's surrounding Hawkins' lab in the Upside Down, and maybe that's what Vecna's working out of, is the old Hawkins lab. He obviously has a lot of ties to the Hawkins lab, being brought there as a kid and working there as a young adult, as we've seen. So that was interesting. And again, I'm sure they're going to bring this all for full circle and connect all the dots and tie it all together. And so that's kind of where it is. But yeah, you mentioned the crawls. That was an interesting part of the beginning of the season. They have all these networking tunnels underneath Hawkins now to kind of connect them. So that was kind of cool. And then the city of Hawkins as a whole is on lockdown. Like, every entry now is security guarded. It's a checkpoint now because obviously what's happening. And so that was interesting. So there's, like you said, there's probably, remember when we were giving our predictions, you said there's going to be a huge military presence, and that it not only is there still a huge military presence, but it's gotten even bigger.
Right. And when I said that, I didn't even think it was going to be as big as it was. I didn't think they were going to set up shop in the Upside Down. So that was crazy in its own.
We will see. Again, Dr. K's story is going to be fascinating as well. Love Lynn Hamilton. So cannot wait to see kind of her journey. All right, some of the new characters, obviously not new, but again, bringing it back to Holly. Love that she's kind of been a vocal point. Derek, oh man, this kid is hilarious. And I mean, they're trying to save him. He's telling them all to suck a fat one. Just hilarious. They were calling him dipshit Derek, and then Joyce is like, "You're not dipshit Derek, you're." And then he goes, "What does he say? Derek the
delightful Derek."
Yeah. Derek the Delightful or something like that. Yeah, hilarious kid. And then he helps a bunch of kids escape into the literal bowels of the military base. That's not in the Upside Down. So they have they kind of have a base set up. And their kind of main references, how about that? Bringing it back to Bob Newby's Radio Shack. That's one of their entry points into the tunnels and kind of spying on this military presence. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, Derek is hilarious. Love Holly. We got to see, again, Mr. What's-It / Henry. Not a new character, but I guess a new form of Henry that we haven't really seen. Nice to little kids. I guess he's starting with kids to build this new world that he always has been mentioning to Will.
Yeah, and he even said, in the final battle with Will, he's taking those that are easy to manipulate and use their fear, kind of like it, right? Kind of like where he's able to use their fear against them and kind of, I don't know what he's doing. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I don't know if he's just taking the energy from their body and using that to rebuild it. Like, I have no idea how that process works, but yeah, he made it very clear though. He's like, yeah, it started with you and those that are easily, I forget exactly how he said it, but basically those that he can manipulate are those that he's going to be able to trick and fool into all of his traps. So what'll be interesting to see is how they plan to stop him from rebuilding and powering back up.
Yeah, and obviously now 11 has a little help, but keeping it with Vecna now. By the way, a lot of people making fun of this as well online. I mentioned the dad bod that Vecna was rocking. in season 4. Obviously got on Ozempic because he is
Stacked.
built now. He is he is stacked. He's got crazy vines just everywhere now. He got Mrs. Incredible powers now. He's stretching his arm, went through some guards. He's got the force. He's throwing dudes around. And I loved Mike, aka Finn Walford's reaction, because that was the first time that he saw Vecna in person. Same with Joyce. Same with the I know that main lieutenant dude eventually died, but to see the look on his face is like, oh shit, this is the real problem. But the little girl's not the problem. This is the main problem. But we obviously won't get to see that anymore because literally he slaughtered the entire military that was above ground. So what'd you think of, I guess, the reinvigorated or rejuvenated Vecna? Because he looks a whole lot different, and again, like you said, even stronger.
Yeah, no, I think they did a great job because he looks badass. He looks, that creepy cool, like, damn, that's badass. It's too bad he's the bad guy type thing. So, I think they did a great job. That I loved the new look. I love the new powers. I love that. It was cool that he came into the real world and just had his, like you said, had his way with the military. Destroyed everything and everybody there. So. And then just walks away, like just after just wreaking havoc, just walks back into his own world. Like, all right, I've shown, kind of not even his full potential, but I've showed him who they're kind of messing with. So, I love the the final form, if you will.
Yeah. And obviously before walking back into the upside, almost like a drop the mic moment there for Vecna, but kind of the confusing thing as we go back to Will here, after having really not a lot in season 4, if you remember, or season 3, I don't remember now, but it's all just draining together at this point. But Will did not have a lot to do in the last season, and this season we're getting to see a new, I guess, power of Will, and that's seeing. They said it, when he gets close to the hive mind, he can see through the eyes of not only Vecna's victims, but Vecna himself and the hive mind himself. So he can see, he saw the Demigorgons running around through their eyes. That's how he knew that Mike's house was being attacked. And, when Vecna picks him up and stuff like that, again, maybe they'll tie the knots or tie the dots together. Maybe they won't. What was the reason of Vecna? Does Vecna know that Will basically has his powers?
I don't think so. Well, remember, like we were talking about on the show on Wednesday, I really thought that it was kind of like a Harry Potter kind of thing for me, where when Voldemort tried to kill Harry Potter and Harry Potter received some of his great skills, I really thought and felt that from the start with Will, when especially in season 2 when Will went into the bathroom, I thought Will kind of was able to now tap into that because of the connection between him and Vecna. So I think I don't think Vecna understands that, and I think Will finally understands it through the pep talk that he had with Robin in the tunnel there. So, and then that talk with Mike that he had, and he's like, you could try stopping the movie. So I think Will finally understood at that very moment. He's like, oh, like I can control this. And then obviously, the bloody nose, he was able to. So I think through that transfer of power, Vecna's too arrogant to understand that could happen, and now Will has some practice to do to hone in those skills, because I think him and 11 are going to be able to tear some stuff up.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see Will get his moment as well. Again, a lot of questions with his I guess sexual orientation really helped him kind of visualize all this, as you saw the flashback of him and Mike first meeting as little kids on the swing and stuff like that. In the season when Will and his brother and everybody were in California and Mike came out to visit, he was super jealous of Mike and Elle's relationship. So And then, like you said, the pep talk with Robin, because Robin went through the same thing that he's probably going through right now, and he got jealous of even seeing Robin and Amy Beth is her is the actress's name, by the way, who plays the redhead. I honestly forgot her name in the show, but and then you were like, wait a minute, does Will like Robin? For a couple minutes,
For
you
a
were like,
second,
yeah, you were like, wait a minute, because he runs away. And they're like, yeah, I can spot that bowl cut from anywhere. But
right.
yeah, so again, the transferring of powers, and now that Will has this power is just nuts and crazy. Again, it was super cool that, I mean, he stopped all 3 Demigorgons, and he knew where the 3rd Demigorgon was in the tunnels. With I thought Lucas was a goner, by the way, when he got smacked in the chest. There's blood all over him. I was like, oh man, Lucas is Lucas gone?
I would have hated that so much.
Yeah, I thought Lucas was a goner, but I mean, not only can he, now you have to ask yourself, does Vecna have that power where he can see through people's visions and minds and stuff like that? So, I mean, if Will can do it and he got Vecna's power somehow, maybe that's what Vecna sees as well. So he knows when and where to attack, where to send the Demigorgons, obviously. So that we've got to keep that in mind as well. But he knew where that 3rd Demigorgon was in the tunnels because he could see where the Demigorgon was. Yeah.
And the crazy thing too, I was thinking about this, and I think that Vecna has Demigorgons assigned to each victim, because if you paid attention, they all went separate directions for one mission, which was to get the child that they were after. Right? There was different Demigorgons for different children. So I think Vecna can definitely see just the same as Will. And like I said, I think through arrogance he sends them and kind of sets it down, where Will kind of hones in and gets to see exactly where they're running and when. Because like I said, you'd think if Vecna knew, right, he wouldn't have just. I mean, I would assume he wouldn't just let them be stopped like that.
Yeah, and then now we got to ask ourselves, what is the role of the Mind Flayer? Because in our preview show on Wednesday, I think I mistakenly said the Mind Flayer worked for Vecna. It actually is probably reversed now. Vecna, you remember, I think it was Mike who said it. He said Vecna is probably the Mind Flayer's number one, like, lieutenant, like his right-hand man. And that seems more true now than ever, because they never really defeated the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer is probably still out there somewhere, and we just haven't seen it. All they did was to close the gate on it. So it didn't really go away. So now we have to think, is Vecna doing the bidding of the Mind Flayer? And I've seen a lot of, obviously, theories online and stuff like that made a lot of sense, that Vecna is actually doing the bidding of he's basically the Mind Flayer's number one foot soldier, going out, like you said, assigning Demodogs and Demigorgons and stuff like that. So now we got to keep it flight. Where is the Mind Flayer, and what role does that thing play in all this?
And not only that, but what kind of connection does Will have now that we know that Will has powers? What kind of connection does he have with it? Because like I said, Will has a special connection that not even 11 really has, being one of the Upside Down's victims, right? So he has a different insight. It'll be interesting to see that kind of a connection of power between those two as well.
Yeah, so we'll keep track of. Yeah, again, the Mind Flayer never really went away. We just hadn't seen it in a while. So yeah, that's crazy. And maybe Vecna has different plans and different priorities than the Mind Flayer. Does the Mind Flayer want to create a new world? Is that what the Mind Flayer wants? So that'll be interesting to see as well. And then kind of towards the very end, we see, as 11 kind of made her way, through the Upside Down, as she did her telekinesis thing, if that's even the right word. She saw a big metal door. She thought that, and they also found her kryptonite as well. These sonic ray guns type things that absolutely disable her. I mean, absolutely, she cannot do anything.
She just goes in the fetal position.
Yeah, I mean, how did they figure that out, by the way? Maybe they experimented on another new / old character, as we see Callie come back into the picture. Number 8, which we saw way back in season 2. A storyline that I kind of liked. Again, hadn't seen her in 8 years pretty much. and now she's back. She's tied up in this lab, and 11 finally goes in there and sees her. So now you got Will, Callie, and 11 that are possible team, a possible team going up against Vecna. What was your reaction of Callie's return?
No, I was the same as you. I absolutely loved her character. I loved that they called each other sisters, and I hated that they went away from it. And then I found myself kicking myself because I was like, that's such a great storyline. Of course, they wouldn't have just done away with it. Of course, they would have brought her back. How did I not see that coming? And so I love it. I can't wait till they get her back to health and up to running speed to where her, Elle, and Will just go in there because I mean it's been said time and time again, although nobody I don't really think believed it, which is like Elle can't beat him by herself, and now she doesn't have to, right? This creates a whole different opportunity to take down that whole upside down.
Yeah, and I honestly think that Holly and Max are going to be part of that team and kind of help within the memories. Maybe destroy a couple memories while they're inside of it. So I think they're going to have a huge part, by the way, too. So, and we will see though. We will see. It was a fascinating 4 episodes, long episodes. Again, F the haters. I mean, if you really have nothing better to do, but besides complain about how old the actors are, like, are they not supposed to age? How are they in high school? They're in their 20s. They literally only showed like one high school scene. Like, get over it.
Right. But not only that, like you said, all the different things that all these actors started to get into because of this show.
If you remember that, you mentioned Pennywise. Remember, Mike was in the first It movie. He was awesome. He's faced Vecna and Pennywise.
Right. And the crazy thing for me is like, yeah, they did get older. Yes, we can all tell that they're not in high school, but let's not be afraid to use our imagination and pretend that the storyline isn't still intact. You know what I mean? I don't, like I said, I don't understand the hate of the complaints. I was completely happy with how they did this. The volume 1, and I can't wait for more.
There you go. One more character I kind of want to get into before we move on here, and that's Dustin. I kind of wrote this in the articles posted on our website, Mark, and he kind of seemed a little distant. It seems like he's really taking the death of Eddie to greater heights. You see him with the Hellfire shirt still on. Of course, the jocks come and beat him up for wearing Hellfire. He's late to kind of the plan that everybody had set, and he just seems kind of distant. What was your take on Dustin's role so far in these first 4 episodes? He just doesn't seem the same. Is it just Eddie's death, or maybe he hasn't talked to Susie? Susie, where is Susie at? Where's Susie Pooh, by the way? I'm assuming she's going to be in this season because she was at multiple red carpets, but I don't know. But what was your take on Dustin's kind of behavior in these first 4 episodes?
That is one thing I was kind of bummed out on, but it makes sense with the storyline because a lot of people forget when they were doing the normal school thing, Hellfire was his escape. That was the closest thing back to the basement that they could all be doing. Eddie did take him under his wing, even though he started out as the major tool, but he did take him under their wing, and they found a new home. They found new friends. They found a new escape. So, yeah, because of everything that happened and the slander against Eddie Munson, that destroyed more than just the friendship for him. So it all makes sense. I'm hoping that he can bounce back because it sucked watching him just kind of just be reckless with what he was doing just because he was missing his friend and wanted to prove a point. And it's like, everything has a time and place. So I'm hoping that he can let that go, get back in the fight, get back close with his friends, and start making stuff happen again.
Yeah, so we'll see what Dustin has to do in volume 2. But that's going to wrap things up for here in this portion of Talking strange as we're recapping the first volume of Stranger Things Season 5. Once again, Volume 2, 3 episodes released on Christmas. So we will let you know once again via social media where we'll be, what time we'll be on before those episodes drop, and obviously after those episodes drop as well. But we are going to get into On the Mark, When on the Mic right now. And welcome to On the Mark, When on the Mic right here on Recliner Media, as it is Mark Saxton, Michael Spillin with you. NFL Week 13 almost in the books. We got 2 more games to go. This Sunday night game between the 9-2 Denver Broncos going up against the Washington Commanders. It was a crazy week. I did this huge freaking stupid 11-leg parlay today, Mark. Don't know why I keep doing it, but I will tell you, I did win an 8-leg college basketball parlay the other day, so that I kept my kind of spirits a little high there, Mark. So there you go.
You needed the win. I like it. I still got blanked.
Needed it. So week 13, by the way, started off on Thursday night. Thanksgiving, obviously, it's always the Packers and Lions, it seems, and Cowboys on that day. Your Packers took care of the Lions 31-24. Once again, scrambling this NFC North. But guess who the number 1 seed is in the NFC, by the way? And then the Dallas Cowboys, how about that? Take down the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the stupid, boring primetime game on Thanksgiving. Don't know why this was the primetime game, Mark, but the Cincinnati Bengals stun the Baltimore Ravens 32-14. What was your reaction of the Turkey Day festivities?
I always loved it. I think all the halftime shows were great too. Eminem and White Stripes on the first game, obviously Posty in Dallas. Those were great for me. I think they were all great games. And Joey B, the QB for me, his day back, making it happen. So I loved seeing Joe Burrow doing his thing. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. So that I think is a sight to see if you're a Bengals fan, because there is now hope. And I think the Ravens really need to start thinking about what's going on, because that's a game, Joe Burrow's first game back. They should have been able to try and pinpoint maybe some of the rust and attack it. They just kind of failed in a lot of areas. Derrick Henry wasn't even doing Derrick Henry things really. So, like I said, if you're a Bengals fan, keep the faith, because Joe Burrow is still that guy.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, why bring him back now? Like, why, they were 3-8 coming into this game. Why are you even playing him? You got to knock the rust off a little bit at some point. He's missed a lot of time. And so, yeah, I mean, what does it say about Baltimore, by the way, to lose a game like this when you are trying to fight for a playoff positioning and then you're losing to for lack of a better term, a bad Cincinnati Bengals team?
Yeah, I like I said, if you're a Ravens fan, it's time to maybe not hit the panic button, but definitely start hovering the hand over it, because being 6-6 at this juncture of the season with that roster is absolutely astounding, because these guys should be one of the top AFC seeds. So I don't know what's going on. I know that one interception that Lamar had wasn't really all on him. So, I mean, I know that doesn't really tell the full story, but like I said, 60 yards on 10 carries with Derrick Henry, and really just not spreading the ball, not being able to move the ball. I don't know. I think the Ravens are in trouble.
Yeah, other games that went down, the Texans, I don't know if really stunned the Indianapolis Colts is the right word. By the way, Indiana Jones playing with a fractured fibula for like 3 weeks now. That's pretty stupid. But the Texans get a 20-16 win. That we talked about the NFC North. That kind of jumbles up the AFC South. Jacksonville got a win today. Colts lost. Houston won. That puts Jacksonville 8-4, Colts 8-4, Houston 7-5, Tennessee, poor little Titans, lost, and they are officially eliminated from playoff contention at 1-11. By the way, The Panthers absolutely shock the LA Rams today, 31-28. The 49ers all over Cleveland Browns, 26-8 in Shadur's first NFL start. He did throw a touchdown in that one. Dolphins get the win. They remain kind of alive as they beat the Saints 21-17. Saints officially eliminated from playoff contention. I don't know if this is an upset. I don't know what you call this, just a garbage game. Jets beat the Falcons 27-24. Buccaneers escaped the Cardinals 20-17. We mentioned Jaguars all over the Titans 25-3. The Seahawks blank the Minnesota Vikings 26-0. So I think it's safe to say the Vikings are officially out. The Bills get a win over the Steelers 26-7. Josh Allen breaks the Lamar Jackson record of most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. And the Chargers beat the dirty Oakland Raiders. Or Oakland.
The
Vegas Raiders 31-14. And I forgot to mention the Friday game, which I don't know why such a weird time for a game, 1:00 on a Friday afternoon.
Why not a prime time? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's on prime. Make it prime time.
Agreed.
But anyway, the Bears get the win over the Eagles 24-15. And how about those Bears as they improve to 9-3 on the season atop the entire NFC. Good to see. Good to see the Broncos and Bears atop their respective conferences. So there you go. That is your rundown of NFL Week 13. Any stunners for you? Any shockers? Anything you were hoping happened, didn't, or vice versa?
Yeah, no. The shock for me was the Bears. 3 weeks ago, I was calling them pretenders. 2 weeks ago, I said, 2 weeks ago, I said, who cares? They beat up a Steelers team without Aaron Rodgers. They go into the link in the heart of the city of brotherly love and just absolutely have their way with the Eagles on the ground, over 280 yards rushing total. I mean, in my opinion, Caleb Williams didn't have a great game, but he didn't need to. Even if he would have had a bad game, the running game was what won it and what did it in that defense. So, like I said, 3 weeks ago, I was calling them pretenders. This week, I'm saying, hey, maybe something's cooking in Chicago. I'm still not fully convinced, but I'm no longer calling them pretenders. That's for sure. That is a fact for me. So it'll be interesting, especially for the Packers. They've got them 2 games in 3 weeks, I believe. It's the Bears, then the Broncos, then the Bears, and then I believe we end the season with the Ravens. So it's going to be one heck of a road, I think, for both teams. At the beginning of the year, I was excited to see the Bears game so close together because I was like, there's 2 wins right off the bat. Now it's going to come down to the wire. So, but it's making it fun too. You know what I mean? Like I said, I love to hate on the Bears, but definitely not afraid to give credit where credit's due. They went in there and they handled business.
Yeah, so we will see what the rest of the season has in store. Only 4 more weeks left, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of this NFL season as obviously some teams out of the playoff picture now. A big one also was the Chiefs going down on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys beat how about they beat the 2 representatives in the Super Bowl in 2 consecutive weeks? They beat Philly last week, and they knock off the Chiefs this week. So are the Cowboys for real?
No, definitely. I think it's too little too late for them. I mean, I frankly don't understand how they got both. I mean, the win against Philly, don't get me wrong. Hey, they got the points. They came back, but that was totally on the Eagles. A fumbled punt, you know what I mean? In that kind of a situation, that was completely on the Eagles. The Cowboys capitalized. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand they're only in second. I understand they're 6-5, but I think they're like the 6th or 7th seed. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely not sold on them. They've got the Lions, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Giants. So it just depends on what Cowboy team shows up because they've not been consistent at all this year.
Yeah, we will see. Anything else that you're watching, not watching over this last week?
I watched the MLS playoffs where unfortunately my San Diego football club let themselves down. They gave up two quick goals in the first half, and consequently losing 3-1. Vancouver takes the Western Conference Final, set to face Lionel Messi and Inter Miami next Saturday at noon 30. So I was watching that and super bummed out.
Yeah, yeah. I was my Lady Hawkeyes got another win today as they improved to 8-0. It was a fight though. It was a fight. Um yeah, I mean they played a team who made 18 three-pointers against them, by the way. And it
Oof.
was a crazy showing. It was 18 three-pointers. That's that is a lot, but they beat the Fairfield Stags 86-72 once again. They jumped from number 21 to number 11 in 2 days after that little tournament in Orlando where they knocked off Baylor, who was ranked number 9. So they're still ranked 11. We'll see if they move up or down. Big Ten play starts in a couple weeks, so we'll see. They play UConn on like December 20th, so that'll be a matchup of
That'll be a show.
yeah, because as it stands right now, both teams are undefeated. UConn's undefeated. Iowa's undefeated. Two back-to-back consecutive seasons the Hawkeyes have started 8-0, by the way, and this is the post-Caitlin Clark era in Iowa. So, congrats to Jan Jensen and that staff and that team. A lot deep. I think they're a lot deeper team than they were last year, especially with the freshmen that they brought in this year. Yeah, so we will see what happens when Big Ten play comes and when UConn comes knocking on the door. That'll be a real test for them. So, still, Lady Hawkeyes undefeated.
Doing work, and like you said, being post CC, being able to build what's looking to be a promising program again. I think that's pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, so we will see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Anything else on your watch list, not watch list? Anything?
I got my not watching list. I only got one, and it's the whole Lane Kiffin thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm an LSU fan for college football, so I absolutely love being able to obtain Lane Kiffin and give him the reins. I think that's going to be a great move. But what I hate is the calendar. Why on earth would they set this up? Would college football set this up where a coach would have to make a decision a week before or 2 weeks, whatever it is, before the playoff starts? Why? In what world does that make sense? And and I get it. A lot of people at Ole Miss are pissed off at Lane Kiffin, but it's like he was forced to make a decision on his future. And mind you, his daughter is dating one of the Weeks brothers, who's on the defense at LSU. So he's got more than just sports on his mind for sure. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how Ole Miss does now. But why force a coach to make that kind of a decision in the middle of a playoff run and then make it the coach's fault? I don't like it. They need to change that, do away with it.
Yeah, that seemed the timing on that seemed a little weird, and yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, well, I guess the NBA Cup is somewhat finalized. The knockout rounds are at least finalized. By the way, did you see Joker shoot 100% yesterday against the Phoenix? One rebound again away from a triple-double. They call that a Sombor double, by the way, when he's only one statistical category short of a triple-double, and he's got like 70-something of those. So, yeah, pretty crazy. I'm trying to get the knockout rounds for the NBA Cup pulled up here, but the Nuggets were eliminated from NBA Cup contention as they lost to the San Antonio Spurs, by the way, without Wemby at home. So that was crazy, but yeah, the knockout rounds are set. So we will see who's on their way to the Emirates NBA Cup.
I like it. My Celtics just won a squeaker over the Cavs, 117-115. Pritchard 42 points. Have a game.
There you go. Here's the bracket, by the way. Quarterfinals in the West, it'll be OKC versus Phoenix, LA Lakers versus the Spurs. Over in the East, it'll be a battle of Florida, the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat, and then it'll be Toronto and the New York Knicks. So those are your ones right now. So that's your NBA Cup tournament schedule right there. So I guess go.
Interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, let's go Raptors. Go win the NBA Cup. That's all you're gonna win.
Yeah. I was gonna say let the Nets win it. Come on, they ain't got nothing else going on.
Exactly. So there you go. All right, let's dive into our wheel review. What do you want to do here, Mark? Do you want to recap what we had to watch last week? Do you just want to spin a new wheel, or what do you want to do?
I say we let Stranger Things have its moment and let's spin a new wheel.
All right, because I will be honest, I did not watch Daredevil. Yeah, it just wasn't enough time to get into that with everything that was going on. So,
and honestly, we probably should have thought ahead on that with the one with Stranger Things coming out this week and two the holiday and everything else. So maybe that's on us.
It's probably on us. I mean, or it's on that guy over there who doesn't do anything.
Right.
All right. I don't know who spun last, so what do you want to do here?
Let's let you go first.
All right. Let's see what TV show I'm watching.
Hey.
I said this last time. I was like, can we bet on this? Can we
we should.
can we
We need DraftKings to go ahead and pick that up for us so we can start putting bets down.
There you go. All right, let's see what genre we got. If it lands on Daredevil again, and it just
It's meant to be.
Nope. What was that? Comedies? Oh my God. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh. I was going to say it's going to land on two shows that I can probably quote every episode. All right, Mark, let's see how many episodes of The Office I got to watch.
Oh, you know what I'm going to make you do.
I don't even need to watch the whole thing. Ooh, you lucked out.
Dang it.
You lucked out. All I got to do is watch the pilot of The Office. I could have gave you a rundown of all 9 seasons, like right now, if I could.
Right. One of my favorite shows, hands down.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what movie you're watching.
Uh-oh.
TV show. All right.
Watch it land on Grey's Anatomy again.
Well, that's good because we didn't get to finish it. Or you might be watching Daredevil. You might be watching Daredevil. There you go.
All right. Never watched it, so I'm excited.
It's good. It's good. Let's see how many you got to watch though. I don't even know how many there are, to be honest.
There's only a few seasons out, right?
I think there's only 2 seasons. Well, you got the pilot, so it doesn't really matter.
There you go.
All right. So for next week, Mark has to watch the pilot of Loki, and I get to watch the pilot of The Office. And again, could probably give you all 9 seasons in a drop of a hat anyway, but we'll save that for another time. As there you go. We just erased our memories, by the way, of last week. A lot going on. I didn't even get to watch anything besides Stranger Things and football and everything. So probably a good thing to reset here.
Yeah, I like it. I think it was a good choice.
There you go. But that is going to do it for us here on the Recliner Media Network. This has been Talking Strange and On the Mark when on the mic, shortened version, as we had a lot to get to for Talking Strange in the first half of the show. But thank you for following, listening along. However you do, whether it's now, whether it's later, don't forget to follow us on all social medias: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, TikTok, everything out there is so you can follow along when we're going to be on and stuff like that as well. So we will see. And yeah, volume 2 again of Stranger Things comes out on Christmas. We'll be around to talk about that as well. This and many pods on the network brought to you by Pikes Peak Sports Cards. Mark, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, sir. Glad to be back once again. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday, and looking forward to Christmas, not only for Christmas, but Stranger Things.
Yes, it'll be strange on Christmas. That's for sure.
That's right.
But we're going to get out of here. For Mark Sexton, I am Michael Spillin. We will talk to you next week.